What's up, guys? It's Justin Kahn, and you are watching another episode of Fractal Radio, where we're diving in with people who are building awesome blockchain games. And today I'm joined by the founders of Caveworld.
Over 2 million years ago, centuries before the first humans were born, neanderthals roamed the earth. Scientists believed cavemen had been lost forever, but in fact, they live on. Introducing Caveworld, an interactive play-to-earn game that allows cavemen to battle each other. This is only the beginning. To all cavemen, welcome home.
Thank you, Danny, Dirk, and King Krog for joining us. What's up, guys?
How's it going?
Hey, it's a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Tell me about Caveworld. Like, how did you guys get started with this project?
Yeah, sure. I can talk a little bit about the origin story. And I think it really begins back in 2017 as a group of, crypto investors and developers as well. Coins were popping up left and right back in the day, and everyone was looking for that one with the most utility. Which one had the fastest transactions, or if all the governments collapsed, which one were we going to use to buy our food at the grocery store or whatever. And it was difficult, and I don't think we've seen the end of that crypto story yet. Governments haven't thrown their hands up and claimed Bitcoin to be their currency, at least yet. And so I think that'll take the rest of the decade to figure out. But when we saw NFTs come into play in 2020 and 2021 as well, it was kind of a new asset class for crypto because, crypto coins had attacked the financial sector, but NFTs were going after both the art sector and we found out to be the gaming sector as well. So, maybe we purchased some in the beginning of 2021 and they're probably down 95% of their value. But what we realized was that the NFTs that were going to survive were going to be the ones with some sort of utility, whether that be, concert ticket access or whatever it be. So I reached out to Matt back in June asking if he wanted to help build some sort of NFT brand. And it just so happened that, his brother Danny happened to be this kick-ass blockchain developer who knew Ethereum and Solana like the back of his hand. And Danny knew the leader of one of the largest 3D game design schools in the world. And so we built this little team, and within 3 months, we had 9,000 different cavemen and minted. We're one of the first projects to mint on the candy machine on Solana and sold out in a couple minutes, which was astounding for us, something that we could build in 3 months that thousands of people wanted to be a part of. And so then we sat around with this community and they were watching our every move, and we realized we had to build something bigger. And this was at the same time that the metaverse was kind of becoming a thing, but nobody really knows what the metaverse is yet. But we knew we wanted to be a part of it. So the idea of Caveworld came about, and we started by dropping weapons to all of our cavemen holders. And then we dropped potions, and then we dropped cave coin, which is just our in-game currency and kind of like a share of the Caveworld company as a whole. And so we've been building Caveworld for the past 3 or 4 months, and we're following all the metaverse technological advances and trying to figure out how we can best adapt to make sure Caveworld is a part of this new paradigm. So it's really exciting.
So you guys started off as a PFP project without necessarily in deciding to create a game yet. Is that
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
And then when you saw the traction you were having with the community, you were like, okay, let's make a game.
Exactly. Yeah. We thought that was the next step, especially for cavemen, because so many projects are 2D animals and such, but we already had this 3D caveman, a full body. I mean, what else are we going to do with a caveman besides perhaps make them battle each other?
Yeah, so we did have also this internal discussion of like what's going to be the next step, and one of the things that we decided to do is to try to find out what we're all going to be best at delivering. And we kind of looked at our team, and we have a very, very high-end 3D team, and we have good coding abilities and backgrounds in both game development and startups. So looking at what we could do to deliver the best result, we decided that a game would be the best use of our team skills.
So what kind of game are you going to build? Like, what kind of game is Caveworld going to be?
Right. So Caveworld, we have a vision that kind of encompasses multiple steps, but we're going at it the traditional kind of startup ways, which is deliver, ship something and then grow from there. So we called it at the beginning the MVP, but it's not exactly an MVP. It's a full game, but it's a first stage of many that we're shipping is a player versus player experience, which is going to pit cavemen against other cavemen. That's the first step. It's going to be a turn-based, kind of a pre-generated turn-based experience. It's developed in Unreal Engine. It's going to ship on mobile first, but also be available on PC and Mac. The second stage will be opening this arena, the battle experience, to other NFT projects, as well as people who want to play the game casually without holding an NFT or being part of the kind of play-to-earn economy that we're planning for the game.
So how's the economy going to work in the game? Will you need to have a kind of one of these Genesis PFPs in order to play it?
I guess I can touch upon that. For the most part, initially we're trying to get it, we call it first viable product. We try to get it for the cavemen, but it's not scalable. So we already thought of solutions for everyone to enjoy the game. But of course, for the main holders of our NFT to have some sort of a benefit long term.
Yeah, I can expand a little bit on that. So just in kind of very vague terms, because we're still figuring out the exact details of how exactly all the little things are going to work. But the vision is that if you open our game, you're going to be welcomed with the ability to play it casually, which implies that you'll just create a username and you'll start battling cavemen-like profiles without any risk or reward or any participation in an economy. And this will also be used as kind of a training ground for people who want to get better at the game that has the play-to-earn economy. And then you can't actually transfer any of your experience or any of your play kind of history from one mode to the other. The second mode that we're planning is a mode that is powered by a play-to-earn economy. So everything in it is tokenized, including the potions, including the items that you get dropped. And I'll let Matt expand later a little bit about how you get rewarded, but the scalability of it, like how do we acquire the players, is going to happen through either you're a holder of the cavemen, which in that sense what we have is a system that we're developing where the cavemen holders are going to be both players, but also they're kind of going to be like generals. We still didn't decide if we're calling it generals or guild masters, but any player that comes into the game will be coming under the kind of patronage of a caveman. And based on the abilities and the class, so we have assassins, warriors, and ranged players, they have all sorts of different statistics that they could develop. Based on the various statistics that the caveman decides to develop, that will affect the various rewards and drops that kind of his guild is going to have. So one of the first things that you're welcomed with when you're playing the game is kind of like choose your class, but also choose which general or which hero. And that's a low-stake decision. You can change that later on in the game. If you're a player that's not a caveman holder, so you're another NFT, or you're just a player who came in and he's participating with a game pass, which is also one thing that we're planning in terms of scalability, because limiting the gameplay just to people who hold an NFT for us seems like it's limiting the audience in a significant way. So we're basically building the thing in a tiered way where the more you're kind of invested and the more you're, let's say you hold a caveman, then you have a lot more possibilities within the game. But you can also participate as a casual player without any risk or spending at all in terms of tokens, or you can participate as another NFT project that we can partner with, or just a casual player who wants to get a big game pass and participate in the game.
Cool. And how do you envision this token working and interoperating with the game?
So one of the things that we had to look at is obviously the biggest currency everyone has is time, right? Time spent in the game is supposed to be worth something. And so the way we did it in our game is we allocate a certain portion of tokens if you play certain time and you will accomplish certain things. And so time really is the factor. And of course, it's skill-based as you advance. But everything is going to be denominated, and your value from the game, you'll be able to receive it through our in-game token. So for example, if you're playing, you got to drop a weapon. It could be a common weapon, an uncommon weapon, and you craft your way to a rare. That rare will be accepted. Our game accepts that rare for cave tokens. So if you played a certain amount, you managed to receive a rare weapon, you choose whether you want to sort of cash out or like receive your reward, or keep playing using that rare weapon to beat other people with those rare weapons and perhaps level further up. And that's the model that we went for. So it's very crafting oriented. It'll involve a lot of crafting, a lot of trading, a lot of thought. We've also integrated so that it'll be a little bit difficult to receive the specific weapons and items that you want. So you are incentivized to trade other people. But the underlying is, so the whole idea is for us to have an underlying value where our game receives it for this amount, and you could always cash out through us.
And one of the things that we're doing differently from a lot of other projects is we're trying to not reward gameplay directly with the token. So you're not essentially going to directly be rewarded with cave coins. What's going to happen is you're rewarded with items that are part of an ecosystem in a market that is denominated in the cave token, but it's not necessarily just straight emissions of a token for your gameplay. You receive all sorts of items, and then you have a lot of decisions you can make with that item. You could trade it for a better item, for a more fitting item for your build. You can use that item to advance in the ranks and level up your character, or you can go to the marketplace and you can sell that item, and that item will get you some cave coins. So that's a little different than the standard approach, but we really think that this is going to work.
Gotcha. And so these the players can transact directly with you, the marketplace, and take out cave coin for whatever item drops they've picked up. And then from there, presumably this cave coin is actually a liquid currency that they can, trade for something else, trade into ETH or Solana or USDC or whatever. Is that kind of your idea? That's how people would earn money through playing this game?
Yep, and it's not only us, also the community. So if we will be offering some basic liquidity for certain items, but the idea is that if someone from the community wants to offer, so just like regular NFTs, for example, on Fractal, right? Everybody can offer some amount of tokens for any item out there as long as somebody owns it. So I have this cool weapon, and someone might go and say hey, I need this weapon for my build. And I might have received this weapon just last week from a battle that I did. So I have the opportunity to turn that into Cavecoin. Naturally, Cavecoin has a market to it like any other token. So the idea is that by investing time, players could actually be rewarded from this engagement.
And tell me a little bit about the kind of vision for the world that you guys are creating with Caveworld. I love the kind of the details around the 3D models and graphics. It sounds like you thought a lot about the lore behind your game. What's Caveworld going to be like?
Well, we've got a basic lore that we worked on, and we're expanding it. But the whole idea is that the cavemen that live, they don't know where they came from. But there are all sorts of hints throughout the game that we want to create, which point towards their origin and where they came from, and we also want to add some items and
Do you want to spoil where they came
from?
No, we can't spoil. There's a thing. They're not exactly your average Neanderthals that came out of kind of Mesopotamia or Africa or something. They have a very interesting origin, and yeah.
That'd be very rude if we spoiled it for somebody who's watching.
Yeah, and as you can notice, They all have high-tech equipment as well as low-tech equipment. You can see them with VR glasses and all this kind of stuff.
But they are kind of brainless. They don't know how to kind of put it together,
Yeah, they're very silly. Their society is very filled with just lighthearted humor and kind of they're not the highest IQ people you could find. They're organized in a kind of a tribal society because there's at least 12 kings, or I need to check the exact amount of kings, but they have kind of a tribal multi-king society, and King Krog is the
king
ultimate
of
king, the king of kings. Yes, we're working on some lore. So one of our team members is who's actually the game mechanic designer. He's a published author. He's developing some lore, and we're intending to start putting crumbs of it throughout the kind of game and marketing. We're very early in that still.
Awesome. So when are you planning on releasing? Like, when's the first time that someone will be able to play the game?
We're hoping for the beginning of Q1 of 2022. I'm sure Danny will tell you something similar. But just to go back to the previous question on kind of what we see of Caveworld, I just wanted to add that, we're starting with this PvP type gameplay, and we're obviously going to make it a fun experience, but we're curious to see how the metaverse really comes to fruition. Whether that means everybody owns a piece of metaverse real estate and we open up cave real estate. So every holder has a cave that they can fill with furniture and invite their friends over to hang out. That would be an awesome goal if that's where the metaverse heads. But there's so many opportunities here, and that's kind of why we named it Caveworld, because we're going to watch how the space adapts, and make sure that we're positioned in a way that allows players to experience whatever comes in the next year or two, whether that be VR or however it comes. So we're open to expanding it as big as possible, and that's probably why it's so exciting for us and the community as well.
Oh yeah, so no, sorry, for the release date, like the PvP, so our target still remains kind of Q1 2022. We don't have a specific date yet, so we didn't announce like a specific date. The general kind of intention is that we want to release it within Q1 2022.
All right, it's getting down to the wire. You guys better get working on it. So you...
Well, yeah, we're very close.
Awesome. So it sounds like you're taking like a pretty open mind to how the world evolves based on your customer feedback, on the player feedback, like what people want, what other people are building in the market. Like, how do you think, one of the things I'm really excited about with NFTs is this idea that your game can be a platform on top of which other people could build experiences or like create interactivity. Like, how do you think that will evolve in your ecosystem?
Sure. Yeah. There are really two ways that you can approach an NFT game. And this is kind of how we thought about it. Either you're an NFT collection and, one of your utilities is building some sort of mini game that includes your characters. Or in the case of Caveworld, you're building a game that happens to include the NFT ecosystem and the crypto ecosystem. When you think about play to earn as a whole, there's hundreds of millions of gamers around the world that play games purely for entertainment, or they spend their money on battle passes and in-game items, knowing that they're not going to receive any sort of financial benefit at the end of it. It's simply they're going to build their skills to have a little bit more fun, and that's great. So the approach we're taking is that we're going to build a game for gamers, something that people really enjoy playing, and something that we can market to an audience that's even further out than crypto and NFTs, and tell them that they can be rewarded financially for playing our game. We think that's such a great incentive, and it's funny that NFTs were the thing that brought crypto and gaming together, just JPEGs in your wallet, but here we are, and so we're excited.
Yeah, and as far as platform kind of ability, so we always talk about like NFTs as a social kind of phenomenon. And not every NFT, a lot of NFTs are promising a gaming experience, but not all of them. And there's NFTs, we've spoken to a bunch of different NFTs that are offering concert going experiences, for example. There's founders that are really good in kind of a club. There's developer DAOs that are kind of releasing NFTs. There's guys like Genesis who are releasing an NFT to finance a startup. kind of around the kind of RPC and kind of underlying Web3 pipe work, I would say. And what we intend to do is for everything, even starting with the PvP, we want to open up what we have developed with our unique skills to the various NFTs that might not have the same skill sets, but would like to provide that additional kind of benefit and utility to their holders. And this is, I think, is a little different from the traditional gaming industry. So in the traditional gaming industry, you would have brands that kind of focus on their brand. If very, very seldom you have kind of crossovers, and they're usually like a huge deal and they don't happen very easily. And I think one of the things that I hope, and I think I'm seeing some of it, is that with NFT there is like this almost initial desire to do as many crossovers as possible and kind of partner and provide each other the utility that you're creating. So like we could be a PvP game and some other NFT could be like a electronic music disco party NFT club. And, you know, they could do a DJ party for us and kind of do a virtual event, and we can come and include their character in our PvP game, and people who hold their NFT can log into our game and play against the Cavemen. So that's step number one. Where exactly it evolves as a platform, we don't know for sure yet. We have some good ideas, but I think it's a bit early to share them. But what we do intend to do is to everything we build to make it interoperable with other projects. I really think that this is something that sets the kind of crypto industry apart from a lot of the traditional business world and kind of startup world, which have been a part for quite a few years, where the brand and kind of trademark and the community you create is open to the idea of intermingling and cross-marketing and collaborating a lot earlier than all those traditional industries. So I'm really excited for that. I don't know exactly what shape it will take, but we're building from stage one to like include everyone who wants to be included and who can provide something of value to our community. So that's kind of to that question about the platform.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's one of my favorite things about Web3 is like kind of collaborative nature of it. This is great. I appreciate you guys coming on the podcast. Any final thoughts about Caveworld or things that you wanted to share with the audience?
Well, okay. So from my perspective, I would like to share that. First of all, thank you for including us. Second of all, we can't wait to show you what we're building. I wanted to kind of let you know where you can check us out, so you can come to our community. We have a pretty vibrant, very friendly Discord community. We are very happy to be known as one of the warmest and most welcoming communities, and we really try to make it so. So anybody who wants to just even check us out without necessarily going to buy an NFT or anything is super welcome. We're also on Fractal, so you can go ahead and check our NFT out on Fractal. Of course we have Twitter, and we're expanding to many more social channels, so hit us up. We just opened the YouTube. It's basically 0 subscribers, so please come and follow us. We are opening a Medium, and we're going to try to be everywhere socially where we can. So we would definitely welcome people to come and check us out and just check what we're all about and see what everybody in our community is excited about.
Awesome. Incredible. Thank you. Thank you, guys.